the number one business opportunity in the planet. My name is HD Rhodes, and I'm going to be the one who's doing the presentation for you today. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm on a time crunch, and so let's go ahead and get started right now. As you guys see in front of me, the name of the company I want to introduce you guys today is VYB, and it stands for Visualize Your Breakthrough. This company was put together by Megan Lynch, Reagan Lynch, and Andre Russell, and I think they literally were godsends. They literally brought a business which was no different than Noah's Ark. At right before the big flood came, God told them to Noah to build an ark, and I truly believe God told Megan Lynch, Reagan Lynch, and Andre Russell to go ahead and build this e-commerce platform because it was literally going to be the arc of safety for entrepreneurs, content creators, and educators, and even students who want to learn how to just make money before, the complete annihilation of the middle class is here. I'm not going to be able to go ahead and give you all the legal details, but if you want to go ahead and type this in, the vibe, which is THE, VYB.io/policies, you'll be able to get all your disclaimers and all your disclosures right there. So moving on, what I want to go ahead and do is, as I like to go ahead and start off so often, I want to just say, man, if you had all the time and all the money, if you had opportunity to be able to live however you wanted to live, if money was no object and time was no object, what would you do different? Would you go ahead and change your zip code? Would you change your postal code? Would you end up buying that house on the beach that you always imagined? Would you buy 5 properties on the beach and clear them off like Bill Gates did over in Redmond, Washington, or, you know, and go ahead and just make your one family compound, put up beautiful shrubbery and trees so nobody knows exactly where your house is. And, there used to be 5 roads down to that beach where those 5 properties were. And, no one knows which one is going to go to a dead end and which one's going to come to your house. Um, or would you go ahead and build you a beautiful home up in the mountains and, just to make yourself off the grid, you go ahead and build it beautiful, custom, with solar paneling, and you still would have all the trappings of the technology, but you would be off grid because it'd be all solar power where they're not going to be able to charge you for the usage of the electricity at those, electronic companies, the electrical companies, anymore. What is it you'd like to do? Would you like to start traveling? Would you like to be able to teach your children history by traveling around the world, being able to allow them to see Big Ben in person, allowing them to be able to spend 3 months in Egypt and to be able to touch and see the Sphinx, to be able to feel the sand? Would you like to go ahead and be able to take them to Ibiza? Would you love to be able to take them to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and be able to go ahead and have authentic pizza in Italy? Would you love them to be able to go ahead and see the Great Wall of China? Would you like them to be able to taste authentic Japanese food in Japan? Whatever your dreams and goals, whatever they are, maybe it's just to be able to retire your spouse so that you guys will be able to spend more quality time, because as you guys promise to have and hold from, for richer or poor until death do you part, it just seems like you guys are nonstop bop and constantly going separate ways. And if you guys aren't going separate ways to work, then you're going separate ways. One's taking one child to gymnastics while the other one's taking the other one to martial arts. And it just seems like the only time you guys get to spend with each other is when you go to sleep at night and say goodnight or wake up in the morning. Well, what if you had all the time and all the money? Would you start spending more quality time? Maybe go ahead and run on that beach. Would you go ahead and start planning your dreams and goals again if you have the opportunity? Well, that's exactly the opportunity that you have to do today with this company we call Vibe. And I want you to start visualizing your breakthrough, because you know what? This is all about you. It's your time. You know what? God has answered the prayers of the many people who they've been downtrodden. They've been at the, it just seemed like they've been kept hitting a glass ceiling. They've been in the 40-40 plan, trading their time for dollars. It just doesn't seem like they can get ahead. And the truth is, it's hard to get ahead when you have literally 4 income drains coming against you. It's not just the fact that, you have taxes coming out of your check when you get paid. You got to pay taxes whenever you go buy anything. And every April, you got to pay taxes. And then guess what? Number 2, you got interest. You got to pay interest rate on your car note, your house note. You got interest on those credit cards, and you just got a credit card because you didn't have enough money. And at the end of the month, before the end of the month, and so you had to take out that credit card to get by or go ahead and book that family vacation you've been talking about for years, and just never could go ahead and save up enough for that. But outside of that, maybe it's the fact that you got to pay car insurance and house insurance, and you got to get insurance for your animals so you don't have a high vet bill. And when you took that vacation, you took out a large over overhead in getting travel insurance because you didn't want to have you or the children or your spouse get sick being 3,000 miles away from home. Whatever it is that your challenge is, I guarantee you it doesn't even come close to inflation because inflation doubles the cost of living every 10 years. And which is the reason why a lot of people are hitting their heads against the wall. They go, I don't understand. When we graduated from college, me and our spouse, we had a great job. We were both making six figures. In fact, combined income was over $200,000. And, maybe that was back in 2015, you're making $200,000 a year. But now it's 2025 and just the money doesn't seem to be going as far as it used to because actually, since the price of the cost of living doubles literally every 10 years, you actually right now today in 2025 would need $400,000 a year to be able to have the same spending quality of income that you did 10 years ago. And in fact, in another 10 years, in 2035, you're going to need to make 800,000 to have what you used to have 10 years ago. And in another 10 years, and which would be 20 years from there, that you are going to have to go ahead and in 2045, you're going to need $1.6 million. And if you actually are hoping you're going to be able to retire by the time that, 20, you know, in 30 years from now, which is going to be 2055, you're going to need $3.2 million to have the same spending, power that you did 10 years ago when you and your spouse were both making six figures. And it just doesn't seem like, life is looking that way. I mean, you're trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. And, if you had, maybe more support for your ideas, or if you had more startup capital, you could go ahead and start that business you've always wanted. Or, if you had a way to be able to have some kind of created space with, had some free time to have created space, or be able to have, some mentorship, or be able to network with successful entrepreneurs who would teach you the tricks of the trade in the industry you want to go into, maybe then you would be able to go ahead and start that business. But, up until now, you didn't know where you're going to get it. Well, I have good news because all the things in which we just got done talking about, that's exactly what you have with this company we call VYB, Visualize Your Breakthrough. Imagine a company that has a vision to be able to connect people to come together who have the same purpose, to be successful in life, to be able to have financial freedom, to be able to have that time freedom, to be able to spend with their friends, their family, their loved ones, their children, to be able to travel around the world, to be able to live life and experience life like they've always imagined, to be able to create their own product, and to be able to be tapped into a process of going from step one to done. And we spell done, R-I-C-H. Imagine being able to partner with people who are entrepreneurs and content creators and educators who are making, not just 6, but 7, 8, and 9 figures a year. Imagine the profits that you would be able to gain, being able to be connected to individuals like that. You know what? Well, that is VYB's mission. Their mission is to give you the mentorship you've been looking for, to be able to bless you, to be able to create the income you've always imagined, to be able to help you have a mindset of a champion, of a winner, so that you're no longer going to be walking around with the confidence of a pregnant ant. Imagine being able to tap in to an ecosystem that literally is going to bless you to create your own product and service, and be in business for yourself, and be able to sell your product and service in 160 countries around the world. You go, HD Rhodes, that sounds like a dream. But here's my bottom line, man. This company has created a compensation plan that's connected to your dream. There's 3 things this company VYB's going to do. Number 1, they're going to help you discover your dreams, your visions, and your goals. Number 2, they're going to help you develop your business plan, your compensation, because they got the compensation plan already developed for you. They're going to help you develop, guess what, your product, your service. They're going to help you brand yourself. They're going to help you once you get everything done and you're ready to launch your business, to demonstrate it in 160 countries around the world. You go, HD, that sounds great, but tell me more, brother. I said, you got to understand, they got 4 pillars of success, because you know what? This platform, it literally encompasses 4 success pillars. Number 1 is educational platform, in which we're going to talk a lot about this educational platform because it's the number 1 university for success I've ever seen. Number 2, we're going to talk about the business solutions. Number 3, I'm already telling you about this community. Imagine being around in a community with influencers and successful entrepreneurs and educators, where you're able to rub elbows with them. As the Bible says, iron sharpens iron. And last but not least, imagine being connected to a company that even puts your health and fitness at the palm of your hands in an app. Come on, man. Let's get started. There's 7 powerful ways to go ahead and participate with this company. The education I talk about, man, the #1 education platform, the University of Success, is called VYB. And where we're going to go ahead and talk to you about community, we got Vibe Tribe. Imagine a community of entrepreneurs, educators, and content creators who are making 7, 8, and 9 figures, all being able to come together in unity with the mindset, kind of like, imagine if you had a Facebook that went ahead and married LinkedIn and they had a child. If they had a child, that child would be called Vibe Tribe. And that's what this community is like. Now, let's talk a little bit about if you're a content creator, entrepreneur, or you are an educator, entrepreneur, or content creator, Vibe Global may be the answer to you. If you have a value added course in which you've always wanted to be able to record so that you're able to monetize your skill set, your mindset, the things in which makes you the best at what you do, guess what? Vibe Global may be the thing for you. Outside of that, we have direct sales products like Vibe Brandworks. Imagine a place where you can go ahead and have your website built, your app built. Imagine Vibe Styles, a place if you've ever wanted to get in the fashion industry, a company that has over 40,000 square feet. Hello, of a warehouse to go ahead and help you make your merch, your caps, your shirts, your sweatshirts, even your specialized custom cups. Come on now. And then guess what? Imagine this, a company that has kind of like an e-magazine that's in 160 countries around the world, where you get to drop your 30-second elevator speech, and it's all digital. You're going to go ahead and be able to click on a button, just like a Amazon Prime, online, or like a Netflix, and they click on the button and they get to learn all they want about you and your businesses and your products and your services and what makes you special. And last but not least, if you just need funding, we got Vibe Ventures. Man, I'm telling you, they've thought about everything with this company. Let's talk about a little bit more about this University of Success we call Vibe Vote. Man, you say, why is it called Vibe Vote? Don't you understand that everything that's valuable in a bank, they always keep tucked away in a vote? And Vibe is no different. You got our education where you have Forex, DeFi, crypto. You got live classes, and they even record the classes for you. If the classes were while you're at work, you can come back after work and learn and get the full education you need. They even got sports betting because it's the #1 elective in North America in the universities. Outside of that, imagine being able to learn, the market insights for the day, for your stocks and bonds and your Forex traders. Imagine being able to get insights from those individuals who are making 8 and 9 figures a year. What about personal development? You know what? The mind is a terrible thing to go ahead and waste. And you got to understand, for you to be able to be a millionaire, I had a multimillionaire 30 years ago by the name of Joe McGee, who was literally the vice president of Cascade Bank, and he owned 25 branches at Q Point Mortgage. And when he asked me this question, he goes, HD Rhodes, do you want to be a millionaire? I said, absolutely, Joe. He said, if you want to be a millionaire, HD, you got to learn to think like a millionaire, speak like a millionaire. And for you to be able to do all that, then HD Rhodes, then you got to be able to read like a millionaire. And you know what? That's exactly what Vibe Vault has done with their personal development. Imagine being able to find out the books you need to read and be able to go ahead and tap into personal development coaches like a Rachel, who has her psychology degree, or like a Justin Lynch, who, he's more of a faith-based personal development coach. Or you have someone who played professional basketball and his profession right now is a Division I basketball coach. He charges literally $500 an hour. I'm talking about the one and only Jason Wells. Now, outside of that, inside the Vibe Vote, we also have Anna. And Anna is the #1 teacher in Silicon Valley for teaching AI. Imagine being able to tap into that. And last but not least, imagine being able to tap into a faith-based academy. We got all that available in Vibe Vote, and all you do is you click in here, and let's take a look at what that Vibe Vote looks at. Now, talking about Vibe Vote, outside of that, how could I ever forget? If you're an entrepreneur, you definitely want to go ahead and click here on the Legend Maker classes and learn from the Legend Maker herself, Miss Megan Lynch. She went from making $40,000 a year as a single mom and a teacher to being able to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month and becoming a multi-millionaire. And she shows you her 90-day plan to help you go from step 1 to making $100,000 a month. Hello, I didn't stutter. Let me say it one more time. To go from step 1 to making $100,000 a month in her Legend Maker Masterclass. Now, let's go ahead and talk about also, there's a class for Anne, but I want to also talk to you about, you have this gentleman by the name of Barnaby, and Barnaby is literally a certified technologist. He's been involved with technology for over 30 years. He knew about Bitcoin, since it's literally only 20 cents, and he's went ahead and taken his talent here to VYB Vote as well. And so you got to understand all the top educators you want, like Courtney Logan, who studied in Oxford. He's one of only 1,400 individuals who has a Forex degree, which means he's certified to be able to teach Forex. Guess what? On Wall Street, all of them have taken their talents to VYB Vote because guess what? That's where all the valuables are for this company. Just like Chris Bosh, and guess what? LeBron James took their talent to South Beach. Now, you know what? I've showed you a lot, but you know what I want to talk about next is I want to talk about this thing called VYB Global because you know what? If you're like a James Udell or who's a specialist in which he's the number one jazz and bass guitar player in Dallas, or if you're like a Robert Arnold, who he's a certified ninja out of Washington State University. He literally studied martial arts, for 10 years in Taiwan. Or maybe you're like a Jerome Majet, who, you know what, he took classes and he's been teaching people, how to be able to do attraction marketing, which is the number one class every business owner, content creator, and educator is going to need to be successful. It's going to teach you to be the hunted instead of the hunter. You're going to have accessibility on the internet on any platform. But if you take this class with Jerome Majet, he's going to teach you why this company gives you visibility and allow you to have your customers start looking for you versus you having to track them down. Now, let's just say you had 1,000 people taking your value-added class through VYB Global. Let's say you charge $30. Well, guess what, man? If you had 1,000 people take your class at $30 each, that would be $30,000 in revenue. VYB Global is going to go ahead and cut you a check for 70%. So that's $21,000. If everyone invites one, next month you'll go from 21,000 to 42,000. If everyone invites one the third month, guess what? You're going to go from 42,000 to 84,000. Now, the best part about this is, guess what? The person who invited you to the company and to VYB Global, guess what? They're going to get a 15% override because the 30% that VYB's going to keep, they're going to split that 30% with them, which is a total of $4,500. And as I broke that down, I want you to understand, man, this is so cool. Like, imagine you could be on VYB Global right here. You know what? The world is waiting for you. This is where you get to rub elbows with the 7 and 8 and 9-figure people VYB tribe. That's our community. We talked about that right there. Look at that, how beautiful that looks. Wow, look at that, man. This is VYB Fitness. Now, we've taken the best top personal trainers. They're going to bring you not just their skill set for health and teaching you how to get physically fit. They're going to bring meal prep plans and also mindset development. And the best part about it is you got access to them on your cell phone and on your computer. Imagine having an app which has your Beachbody app, as long as they also have what? Your Peloton. Combine it with everything else and all that and more. And guess what you get? Yes, that's right. The ecosystem at VYB. We have everything included. Now, I've already talked about the direct sales. Now, look at this. This is what we were talking about. Imagine being able to have your own clothing line. Isn't that awesome, man? Now, there's two ways you can participate. Number one, you can just be a student by taking any of our courses. I say, hey, if you have a chance to learn while you earn, why not? I mean, why not go ahead and take, those classes on Forex and NFTs and cryptocurrency with Barnaby. He has an AI program called Crypto is Fire or C Fire, in which he's going to help. His AI program is going to help you with your education. Or take, this class with RFS Academy, which is Courtney Logan's, in which he has an AI program, which is called Omni. Either way, you have an opportunity to learn from these men and to be able to go ahead and do your investing in crypto with them at the same time. Now, last but not least, you also got to understand that gives you a chance to earn while you learn. But let's talk about if you decide to partner on the entrepreneur, content creator, and education side. Let's look at this compensation plan. Number one, hey, this is what we're talking about. If you want to be a student, you want to be a pro member right here. If you want to be a creator, a content creator, entrepreneur, educator, and take advantage of VYB Global, then I suggest you go ahead. The only way you're going to be able to do that as a creator is the Legend membership. So it's either $160 to be a student or $250 to go ahead and be, guess what, a content creator, educator, and to be able to monetize what you're doing as an entrepreneur. Okay. Now there's an additional $10 it talks about right here. That's them just saying, hey, yeah, we want you to pay us. You know what? It makes sense. $260 a month to be able to make anywhere from $21,000 to $84,000 a month. What's there to think about, right? So now let's go ahead and go on. Let's go ahead and talk about the 6 ways to make money. I've already told you 2. VYB Global, you get what? 70% commission off of your value-added course. Now, if you're the person who, say you have 10 friends who wanted to go ahead and do the same, guess what? And they had 1,000 people in their class, and while they're making $21,000, you're going to get that $4,500. Yeah, times 10. So that's $45,000 a month. plus your own course. Let's say that you have 4,000 people in your own course. Now you got 45,000 for your referrals, your 10 friends, plus you're making an extra 84,000. You do the math, but I think that's somewhere over $120,000 a month. And if you times that by 12, I think HD Rhodes just help you be a millionaire because you started a value added course, invited 10 friends to go ahead and do the same thing with you. Maybe you just invited one person a month, and after 10 months, woo-wee, now you're a multi-millionaire. Well, that's pretty cool. So guess what? You have the direct sales product and you have the 3x10 matrix. And guess what happens? You invite 3 friends, they invite 3 friends, they invite 3 friends. You invite a content creator, educator, and entrepreneur. Content creator invites 3 other people who have podcasts. Educator invites 3 other people who are educators. And guess what? The entrepreneur, you know he knows 3 more people. Guess what? In our 3x10 matrix, there's 100. Look at all the spots. There's 88,572 spots. The best thing about this company is they're literally going to give you $5 for every one of those people based off of their monthly membership for each one of those spots. When they get done paying you, it's going to be roughly an extra $442,000 a month. So add that to your 120. I think HD Rhodes just showed you how to make over $500,000. Now, for each person that you personally invite, you're going to get a fast start bonus every single month of $40 if they're a content creator, entrepreneur, educator. And each one of the people who they sign up, you're going to get a $20 every month for that. Cool thing is you're also going to get the $40 that they get for each one that they bring, because you get a 100% matching bonus. And you also get a 50% matching bonus on all the people, for all the people that they signed up and the people they sign up, you're going to get that 50% matching bonus. And so, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go over this quick example, and then we're going to call it a day. So let's just say you invited 10 of your friends. Hey, they wanted to go ahead and be a content creator. But while they're working on their content, they sign up, they go ahead and pay their $260 plus tax. And guess what? You're going to get $40 for each one of them, which is $400. Plus, you're going to get the $5 for all 10 of them. That's $450. Now, they each refer 5 friends. Well, hello, do the math on that. That's another $1,000 plus an additional $250. When you do the math on those $40 times 10, you get 100% matching bonus. Plus, you're going to get what? The 50%. You're going to get the $20. You add all that stuff up together, that's $1,700 a month, my friend. And it keeps going on and on and on. Say you help 10 friends make $500. 10 friends who make $500, 500 times 10, $5,000. Each one of those friends help 5 friends, and guess what? That's if an extra make an extra $250. That's $6,250 for a total of $11,250, and it goes on and on and on. And so, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and thank everyone for coming to this presentation. If your number one goes HD Rhodes, it looks like a pyramid. I'm not interested. I say, hey, that's great. You're gonna go to school. Go to VYB and at least get educated by people who are making 8, 9, and 10 figures a year. And you know what? It just makes sense. Go ahead and get a pro membership, $160 a month to be able to learn from people who are making 7, 8, and 9 figures a year. Just makes sense. If you're number 2, you say HD Rhodes, that sounds great. But you know what? I got a few more questions. I say, that's awesome. Then go ahead. Since you have a few more questions, get with the person who invited you, and they'll get your questions answered. You go, if you're number 3, you go, HD Rhodes, this is the best thing I've ever seen since sliced toast. Then go ahead, DM the person who went ahead and invited you, and let's get started, and let's launch your business today. I'm HD Rhodes. God bless.